up, YouTube? Fallen Psycho A2 coming at you with my first place regional deck profile for Masked Heroes. I piloted this deck to go undefeated through Swiss, and there was no top cut, so I got first place. This deck, do I think it's the best deck right now? I don't know. Do I think it's the best deck that was in my price range? Yes. I probably would have played Necros for this event if I could have afforded it, but I can't afford Necros, so I didn't play that. Instead, I played this because I feel like it has the best matchup against a lot of the meta, and I can afford it, and it's really not bad at all. So, let's get to the profile. We play 3 Shadow Mist, because this is basically the best card in the deck. It searches every card you need, Mask Change, and any hero when it goes to the graveyard. Helps with OTKs, helps with setup, all overall really good. 3 Bubble Man. A lot of people have dropped this to 2 or even 1. I still think 3 is necessary just because of all the plays he does, or sometimes just being a normal summon for Acid, and comboing with Shadow Mist really well is really good. 1 Alias, I would not play this card if avoidable. Here's the problem. All the hero cards, except for these 2 guys right now, suck. There's very few good hero monsters right now, and Alias is actually the 3rd best, which is kind of pathetic. So you have to play him, otherwise you just don't have enough monsters to search, and that's a problem. Other monsters, 2 Summoner Monk. Monk is, again, one of the best cards. Every card in this deck is so good, except for Alias. Alias sucks. Summoner Monk summons Shadow Mist first turn, which is really good. Can also summon Thunder King, can just make combo plays, go into extension plays, swing for game. If your opponent leaves this guy up a turn, you're in a very good position. 2 Goblinberg. It's not a real card in your hand to conflict with Bubble Man, so you essentially play 10 monsters, which isn't a bad number. Can also serve to trigger Shadow Mist special summon effect out of your hand first turn, which is really good. And then the 10th or 12th monster, however you want to look at it, is Thunder King. Simply because he beats so much stuff right now. Versus Necros, he just says you can't play Yu-Gi-Oh! The end. Sit on him plus background, you basically win. Versus Ritual Beast, which is actually this deck's hardest matchup. I'll go into matchups maybe later. He doesn't seem great, but what he does is he'll negate the fusion summon, which actually stops a lot. So they just won't go into a fusion summon, and without the fusion summon, they don't do anything for anything. So that's the monsters. There's 10, 12 monsters, depending on if you count Goblinberg. Spells, we play 3, a hero lives. This card I think might actually be the best card in the deck. Just OTKs everywhere. First turn, search Shadow Mist to get Mask Change, and that's a turn 1 Dark Claw plus a Bubble Man, which is really good. So just plus all day, every day. More searchers, 3 Rhoda, because any warrior in your deck is any card except Summoner Monk or Thunder King, which are oftentimes cards you want to have first turn, but this helps get Goblinberg Shadow Mist combos if you can't do that. 1 E-Call. I feel like E-Call is the perfect at 1 right now, simply because you have these 4 searchers to hand, these 3 searchers to field, and Shadow Mist searches more, and you only play 7 heroes. So you have about 10 ways to search stuff, some of the Shadow Mist being recyclable. So 1's the perfect number. This may go up or down when Blaze Man comes out, unknown right now. I haven't touched Blaze Man yet. 3 Mask Change. I feel like 3 is the right number, just because you oftentimes will use all 3, or you'll need 1 in your opening hand. Having 2 in hand really isn't a bad thing, because making Shadows, just summoning Shadow Mist and saying 2 of these guys isn't bad, because they'll go into the search play to bait the first one. You play the first one, banish a Ram card from their hand, and they say, okay, play another search card. You chain the second one to summon out your second Dark Claw, and take another card out of their hand, and then they're at a big disadvantage. 1 Miracle Fusion. Don't know how I feel about this. Probably getting cut soon, just because it's mediocre. helps push for game. Otherwise, it's mostly good when you're top decking, which you don't want to be in a position of top decking in this deck, because this deck sucks at top decking outside of your 7,000 ways to put out Bubble Man, draw 2, which is essentially just extend your top decking, or Miracle Fusion. Mask Charge. This card's atrocious early game, but it's really good mid to late game. So you play that 1, because you don't want to see it early game. 2 MST, just to deal with back row, Call of the Haunted, etc. Clear stuff out, tanky, etc. 3 isn't necessary right now, just because there aren't enough threats. Teller Knights and Ritual Beasts are really the only relevant decks that set back row. I guess Burning Abyss, yeah, Burning Abyss sets back row, but this deck says Burning Abyss isn't a deck, so it's fine. 1 Raigeki, clear out threats. This plus Darklaw is dumb combo. Like, ridiculously dumb. So, Raigeki is a good card. And 1 Book of Moon, just for disruption or protection, however you want to look at. Like, summon Goblinberg, activate effect, Fiendish Chain, Book of Moon, set the Goblinberg, resolve his effect, summon Shadow Mist. You play 16 spells, which is actually a fairly high spell count, but you have Summoner Monk to pitch them, and a lot of them are just searchers for more monsters. Trap cards. We have 2 Call of the Haunted to recycle things, especially Shadow Mist, to get the Mask Change back, then activate it next turn to put out Blazement and get a hero. So you essentially just +1 off this card, plus have more combo plays, which is really good. This card's amazing. I heard some people talking about not playing it, but that would be stupid. Play this card. 2 Mind Crush, because this card is amazing. This card plus a way I put out Darklaw first turn is almost always game, just because they activate the search card, chain Mask Change, summon Darklaw, they search the card, activate Shadow Mist Chainlink 1, Darklaw Chainlink 2, Mind Crush, the searched card, Chainlink 3, that gets banished. They get another card banished from their hand, and you get to see their entire hand, and you basically win from there. 2 Fiendish Chain, protect Darklaw, negate effects, etc. Pretty good card. 2 Mirror Force, protect Darklaw, stop attacks, etc. A lot of this deck is just make Darklaw and protect it until you can push for game, because Darklaw is an amazing card. 1 Emptiness, because it's still an amazing card even at 1. 1 Ring of Destruction, kind of similar to Book of Moon in a lot of ways, because it's disruption. The thing about Book of Moon is it sets a card, putting it in a non-threatening position, but you still have to deal with it. Ring of Destruction deals with it on the spot. Solemn Warning, this card's weird right now. It's really good in a lot of rogue matchups, which is kind of why I decided to play it for regionals, because you oftentimes see a lot of rogue at regionals. Also, Ritual Beast, this card's really good against. And the 40th card is Traptrix Shrapnel Nightmare, because it's really good versus rogue decks, and pretty much all of Necro's good outs to Darklaw involve activating effects of special summon monsters, Bryanak, Drusilla. So overall, this card's just protect Darklaw, I guess. 40 card main deck, 12, 16, 12 ratios. I feel like that's really good ratios, actually. It's like 3, 4, 3. Works out nicely. Rarely draws dead. And that's my side deck, flying everywhere because I'm disorganized. Onto the extra deck. 2 Darklaw. 3 is unnecessary, 1 is too little, 2 is the perfect number. I've never felt the need to go into 3. Some people say they have, but then you're probably playing the deck wrong. 1 Acid, I've considered 2. I feel like 1's fine. Like, if they activate their Fiendish Chain on this, then you can just go for an extension play and kill them. 1 Koga, you literally only play this card because you have to play Alias. Once Alias is gone, this card can go 2, and that'll clear up more extra deck space, which is great, because apparently you cannot go Excalibur into Koga. Weird. Other fusions, Shining for Miracle Fusion, Absolute Zero for Miracle Fusion, and bad card for Miracle Fusion that you never go into and I want to cut. Xyz, Excalibur, because 4,000 damage is good, out to towers, helps OTK. Blade Armor, outs multiple monsters at once, helps OTK. These guys, a lot of the time people ask me which is better, they do different things. Blade Armor outs multiple lower attack threats. Excalibur outs one high attack threat. So they do different things, but usually you just bring both out to OTK. So, a lot of the time it doesn't matter. One Castle, deal with threats. One time I actually I bounced a Fiendish Chain with him that was on a Dark Claw, so that the Dark Claw was open now, and that was really useful. He's more versatile than 101, but 101 is a safer play because it protects itself. So I play both of these. One Exciton for field clearing if my opponent overextends like a silly person, and then they lose because they were silly. One Dweller. Made this guy actually round 1 versus Sylvans because I thought his face down might be a hand. Turns out it was a Rose Lover, so this card just stunned him for 2 turns and he lost. Made this against Necroz with 2 Shadow Mist as material, so I just spent 2 turns stunning his graveyard, so he couldn't search any new mirrors, so he couldn't make any new plays, and I got to search out Bubbleman and Alias to make more of my own plays. So he's really good, actually. Sorry about the glare. One Cowboy, PP for game, big attack. And the 15th card, Emerald. You play him because of Alias. I don't know if I'll play him without Alias, but basically the play is you'll use a Summoner Monk plus another card, usually Shadow Mist, with a Alias engraved. You detach the Shadow Mist, summon the Alias from grave with his second effect. Thank you, Tyler Whitley, for explaining that combo to me, because I would not have thought of that on my own. Shadow Mist effect, add Bubbleman, special summon the Bubbleman, overlay into Excalibur Blade Armor, because your Warrior Xyz are the OTK ones. So he opens up a lot of combo plays with your dead Summoner Monks. So that's the extra deck. Works perfectly for the most part. I would cut a Skirridao, Koga once I can get rid of Alias. Yeah. Onto the side deck. 2 Max C, because everything. I think I literally sided this in every single game, but you can't really main deck it because it conflicts with Bubbleman, and game 1 you really want to take advantage of the fact that they aren't going to be ready to stop an OTK unless they search Valk, which a lot of the times you can dodge with Mask Change. So you want to take advantage of that with Bubbleman. When this guy comes in, oftentimes a third Bubbleman will come out, but I don't like him in game 1 because you want to take advantage of that surprise factor. I didn't lose a game 1 all day, so yeah. 2 Dark Hole, clear out Jinlock and establish boards. 1 Book of Eclipse. I may play more. I probably would play 2, but I only own 1. Yeah. 1 Defusion, the Mirror Match, and Shadol's didn't face either all day, so this card never saw any play. 3rd MST, back row heavy decks. 2 Mistake, Necroz. This card's really weird. I got asked about this a lot. It's super counterintuitive, because you think, oh, heroes search a lot, so this card's bad. No. If I have Darklaw or a big monster out, and I play this versus Necroz's main thing is they can search out all the combo pieces they need. Once this comes up, their hand essentially becomes dead, and my 1 big beat stick can just deal with anything they do, which is really cool, actually. 2 Light Imprisoning Mirror for Satellars and Rogue decks. 2 Ojometrio for BA. Yep, BA. And 2 Curse Seal of the Forbidden Spell for Shadol's and Klee. Not really Klee, because Klee's not a real deck. But Shadol's. This card is bad versus Necros. Don't play it versus Necros. Necros have too much variation, and the ritual spells they can pull off, this card won't do anything versus them unless you open with both. At which point you're going super neg, and you're probably going to lose anyway. So this card's bad versus Necros. So don't do that. That's the side deck. So, yeah. A couple questions I get asked frequently about this deck are Miracle Fusion, E-Call, you versus you, and what am I gonna do when Blazeman comes out? This card right here, this card right here, and these cards. So Mind Crush, I may want to bump up to 3, but I feel like 3 is a little cloggy. I don't know. I am unclear on this right now. Mind Crush is definitely good at 2, though. Call of the Haunted, 2's the optimal number. 3, because it's bad early game. Well, too early game. It's good, like, second or third turn. But you don't want it, like, first turn, because it won't do much. This card, it's interesting. I really like it. I didn't draw it all day, so I can't really give a good evaluation of it. Yeah. Warning is weird because you throw away life points a lot, which is hard, but they're not super relevant if you can OTK the next turn. E-Call, yes, I think 1's the right number. When Blazeman comes out, I don't know. Miracle Fusion might cut it. I don't know. Kind of play it for nostalgia purposes at this point. These cards. This is a debate that I get asked, or people ask frequently. I open these 2 cards. Which one do I activate? Do I summon Summoner Monk and pitch a Hero Lives, or do I activate Hero Lives and keep Summoner Monk in hand? It depends. There's so much things that can happen. How much backer does your opponent have? Are you going first? If you're going first, then it depends. Do you think your opponent has Valor? If you think your opponent has Valor, a Hero Lives is the better option. Well, kind of depends on your hand. Again, usually I would go Summoner Monk and pitch a spell other than a Hero Lives, so that I have this as a backup plan. But let's say I don't. These are my only 2 cards, and I think my opponent has Valor. What I'd probably do is I'd a Hero Lives for Shadow Mist. My reasoning, Valor on Summoner Monk. I discard this, they discard Valor. That's a 1-for-1. Now they're just going to run over Summoner Monk because he's not very big the next turn, and I'll lose Summoner Monk too. And I'm down 2 cards to the 1 card they lost. And I'm out of play now. If I activate Hero Limbs and we see Valor, let's say this is where Shadow Mist, and I summon Shadow Mist. I just went 1-for-1 there. Activate Shadow Mist effect, Valor, they go -1. Then when they try and clear this threat out, I get a Bubble Man to hand. And I still have an Xyz play in hand. So overall, they go -1 if they have Valor on this play. I go -1 if they have Valor on this play. So this plays better if these are your only 2 options first turn and you think they have Valor. A lot of the time Monk is better, but you really have to evaluate the situation. So it's weird. This deck takes a lot of practice and thinking with it. The main question I've been getting asked recently is how do I plan to incorporate Blazeman into the deck? The answer, I haven't touched Blazeman. In the few times that I've played Yu-Gi-Oh! In the recent months, I've been kind of busy with other things. I've been 100% focused on this regional. So I have not touched any of the new stuff. I know Blazeman searches Polymerization and dumps Shadow Mist. Here's the thing though, I might not even play Heroes once the new set comes out, because the game changes tremendously. I'm not just playing Heroes for the sake of playing Heroes. I'm playing Heroes because it's the best deck that I currently have access to. Will that be the same after World Superstars comes out? I don't know. The game changes so drastically. Right now, Heroes are really good, because the commonly accepted best decks right now are Satellars, which don't really do anything threatening outside of Alpha, Necros, and BA. BA isn't a real matchup for this because of this card. Necros has a hard time with this deck because this card, and Satellars are barely a real deck. So this deck is a strong anti-meta pick right now. Once World Superstars comes out, we see a lot of new Shaddoll support. Now Shaddoll, you say, oh well, it gets banished. Yeah, but then they summon Construct and your Darkle is dead. So Shaddolls are definitely a harder matchup than the other ones for this deck. Also, Satellars become a much more real deck at that point, so I'm not sure what I'm going to do. I may keep playing this deck, I don't know. If I do, you'll hear from me. Tournament report, I plan to type one up on Facebook in depth. For now, I will do a quick overview. Round 1, played Sylvans. No, Sylvans are not quote-unquote good right now, so I 2-0'd him. mainly due to a random Abyss Dweller, because the format I've played the most in is probably Hat format, which has basically scarred me forever from attacking set monsters without summoning Dweller first. So I basically summoned Dweller and swung over his set card, which turned out to be a Rose Lover, so I stunned him for a turn, then OTK'd. Because he couldn't do anything at that point. Next game was basically just summon Darklaw, and he couldn't do anything because Sylvan's kind of needed Graveyard. So, that was that. Round 2 was Plant Synchro. Don't remember much, except he complained about Darklaw being unfair a lot. Round 3, Necroz. This guy actually got second at the regional in the end. He complained about Darklaw being unfair and Mistake being unfair. For future reference, getting Darklaw out should be absurdly common, so you can't really complain that that's sacking. Round 4, Necroz again. This was one of the 3 times all day that I went to game 3. Thought he had me a couple times. In the end, I won due to some lucky hits with Darklaw. Round 5, Tellers. About a 2-minute match, OTK'd him twice. FTK'd the first game, because he went first. Round 6, Tellers again. Once again, went to game 3. Thought he had me a couple times. In the end, I won. Round 7, Klee. Apparently, Klee was the only other undefeated deck at this point, so I 2-0'd it. Round 8, Necroz. This guy had 1 draw. I thought he had me in game 3. He summoned Denko, but there was no follow-up play, so I killed the Denko, then OTK'd him. Anyways, thank you guys for watching this. If you enjoyed it, let me know. I will try to continue to make more videos. I will be typing up a full tournament report later and posting it to Facebook. Thank you for watching. PalmZyko82.